Hello and welcome to the main news this Thursday, broadcasting live from our Montrose studios in Bulawayo. My name is Arthur C. Evans and I'll be joined on the sign language desk by Susan Masona. These are the stories making your headlines. President Mnangagwa orders crackdown on reckless driving and unsafe vehicles. CAB 3 heads to Parliament next week as report compilation nears completion. In business, government bars foreigners from small-scale gold mining in landmark empowerment policy. And in sport, Warriors eye redemption against India in Unity Cup playoff. These and other stories to follow during the course of the bulletin. But first, Zimbabwe's engagement and re-engagement agenda continues to bear fruit, with the Republic of Panama having set up a diplomatic mission in Harare.
In the spirit of entrenching multilateralism and shared development among nations, 3 envoys presented their letters of credence to President Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa at State House this Thursday. The success of the engagement and re-engagement agenda has seen the Republic of Panama setting up a mission in Zimbabwe, with the new ambassador, Rodrigo Alvarez, indicating the need to ensure the strengthened relations through investment.
Well, it was a very friendly meeting where we exchanged different points of view. We are both third world countries, and we believe in people's empowerment, and that is through the efforts that every government makes in order to have its people living in proper conditions and in a high quality of life.
The new point person for Harare from the Kingdom of Lesotho, Sime Jafeta, indicated the need to strengthen the existing bilateral relations.
During my tenure of duty as the ambassador of Lesotho to Zimbabwe, I will make sure that the already existing and warm and cordial relations are promoted towards economic cooperation. And we also discussed the issue of you might be aware that the government has approved the Joint Permanent Commission on Cooperation between the 2 countries, Zimbabwe and Lesotho. And that is going to work as a legal framework on which the programs of cooperation will actually be identified.
Zimbabwe and Qatar enjoy cordial relations, which has seen the growth of investments in various sectors of the economy, and the new point person, Mubarak Al Khalifa, indicated the need to strengthen the existing bilateral ties.
The President to support to me to come to the help to good relationship between both countries, to Qatar and Zimbabwe.
The engagement and re-engagement agenda by Zimbabwe has seen major transformation, with a number of countries opening up to throw in investment in various sectors of the economy. The excellent relations between Zimbabwe and other countries has been witnessed on the overwhelming support Zimbabwe has received for the United Nations Security Council non-permanent seat bid. Bruce Chawanda, SABC News, State House.
The President, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, has called for drastic measures and lasting solutions targeting irresponsible behavior and unroadworthy vehicles on the country's roads. This comes after Zimbabwe recorded 3 major accidents, which claimed 24 lives within a space of just 5 days. 10 people died in Gokwe on Wednesday morning when a bus and a haulage truck collided head-on along the Gokwe-Kwekwe road. The other clash killed 8 people in Hwange on Saturday. President Mnangagwa has since directed government departments and agencies involved in ensuring road safety to act with urgency and greater coordination for the carnage to be stopped. The head of state also directed government to speed up the re-establishment of road maintenance units across the country and to avail adequate resources for impactful remedial work on the country's weather-damaged roads. Government has since extended assistance to the bereaved families. Still on the road accidents, the Gokwe incident that claimed lives this Wednesday, has been declared a state of disaster, and need for further caution, responsibility and reflection on Zimbabwe's roads has been called for. This comes after Midlands Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Owen Ncube, visited some of the survivors in critical condition who were transferred from Gokwe to the Gweru Provincial Hospital.
What began as an ordinary journey from Gokwe to Harare quickly turned into a horrific nightmare for more than 35 passengers on board this ill-fated bus. The question was gruesome, claiming 10 lives and leaving survivors nursing both physical and emotional scars. Among those recovering at Gweru Provincial Hospital is Cecilia Msarumana, who says surviving the tragedy feels nothing short of fate. Gweru Provincial Hospital Medical Superintendent Dr. Fabian Mashingaidze noted that with the expertise they have, they are certain to see the patients through.
The 4 patients would definitely require internal open reduction and internal fixation in theatre through our orthopedic surgeon. We are very hopeful that they'll make it because, like I've indicated before, they are fairly stable, though with severe traumatic injuries. But our specialist surgeons will be able to deal with that.
Government expressed concern over the spate of road traffic accidents being witnessed right across the country and noted that they will be seeking to bring relief to the affected.
It is with a heavy heart that I address you today following 2 tragic road accidents that occurred in Midlands Province during this week along Harare-Bulawayo Road. 6 lives were sadly lost. The government of Zimbabwe will assist with the burials. On behalf of the government of Zimbabwe and Midlands Province, I extend my deepest condolences to the bereaved families. The government of Zimbabwe stands with you in this time of grief.
The country continues to reel from a surge in fatal road traffic accidents, with authorities attributing most of these crashes to human error, a devastating reality that continues to rob families of their loved ones while imposing a heavy social and economic cost on the nation at large. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Gweru.
In other news, Egypt is seeking to deepen ties with Zimbabwe as it courts local pharmaceutical companies to participate at the Africa Health ExCon conference to be held in Cairo in July. Now, this came out following a courtesy call by Egypt's ambassador to Zimbabwe on Vice President General retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga in Harare this Thursday.
Zimbabwe and Egypt are looking at further strengthening existing bilateral ties, which have doubled over the last few years, estimated around $80 million US. Now, a vital cog linking these 2 nations is that they are both COMESA member states, which offers a critical pedestal to boosting economic relations between these 2 countries. Now, this was part of the conversation when Egypt's ambassador to Zimbabwe, Dr. Maha Kamel, met with Vice President General retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga in Harare this Thursday. This meeting reflected on current and possible areas of investment opportunities between the 2 nations based on their long-standing relationship.
We discussed what areas of potential cooperation is currently underway in order to further this bilateral relations between the 2 countries, be that in the economic sector, the health sector, the political area.
They also discussed cooperation in health for joint development cooperation.
This was also one of the very, very important issues that we have discussed. Egypt will be hosting the Africa Health ExCon conference in July, and we have invited several pharmaceutical companies in Zimbabwe to come and to participate, of course, in addition to the government and also to the government companies to be there. This will be an important opportunity policy to further the cooperation between the two countries, not only in the pharmaceutical sector, but also in the production of medical devices, furniture for the hospitals, and vaccines.
Egypt also says it sees opportunities in Zimbabwe across sectors, including construction, agriculture, pharmaceuticals, and energy sectors. Theophilus Chuma, SABC News, Harare.
Vice President, Colonel retired Dr. Kembo Mohadi says the country has witnessed a deliberate shift towards a development-focused governance model that prioritizes infrastructure, industrialization, innovation, and inclusive growth under the Second Republic. The Vice President was speaking at the launch of 2 new books in Harare this Thursday.
2 new books authored by Lungani Zwangobani titled Why ZANU-PF Must Succeed and Daring in November have captured the ruling party, ZANU-PF's structural evolution and the country's broader development trajectory. The books were launched in Harare this Thursday. Guest of honor at the event, Vice President Colonel retired Dr. Kembo Mohadi said the publications are timely in documenting the country's development narrative, framing literature as an essential pillar for nation building.
At a time when we are increasingly driven by unprogressive noise, especially on social media, it is refreshing to witness a deliberate effort to elevate thoughtful discourse, grounded in history, guided by ideology, and oriented towards national development. It is through literature that society define themselves. It is through literature that society interrogates their past and chart a path toward their future. In this spirit, I encourage a shift from perpetual contestation to developmental dialogue in our national discourse.
Various speakers that include cabinet ministers endorsed the 2 publications as essential reading materials for understanding the country's political and development trajectory.
The books we celebrate this afternoon, Why ZANU-PF Must Succeed, Golden Jubilee Reflections, and A Daring in November, come at a time of profound national significance. As Zimbabwe approaches its Golden Jubilee, these works resonate deeply with our national vision.
These books reflect not only the creativity and dedication of the author, but also the enduring power of literature to inspire, to challenge, and connect us to the narrative of our nation's journey, its aspirations, and indeed to think about its destiny.
Books preserve history, inspire generations, and challenge us to think beyond limitations. Nations that invest in ideas and intellectual engagement prepare themselves for lasting transformation.
The inspiration behind Zwangobani's dual publication stems from a deliberate effort to address what he views as a gap in the documentation of Zimbabwe's contemporary political history and economic development ideology.
I want to characterize in my book the spirit of Zimbabweans. We have an indomitable spirit. But within the context of my writing, I also wanted to characterize the leadership of our country. So when you look at the book, those that will get the book, it has a face of a lion matched with a crocodile.
The book A Daring in November provides a historical and analytical reflection on the pivotal political shifts that have reshaped Zimbabwe's governance structures over recent years, while the other publication, Why ZANU-PF Must Succeed, captures the narrative that politics is not only about contestation, but about consolidating progress and delivering tangible outcomes for the people. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harare.
Parliament will complete the compilation of reports regarding Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill submissions this weekend, paving way for tabling of the proposals in the August House next week.
It has been extensive 4 months as the public had an opportunity to debate and ventilate the 22 clauses within the Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill. Last week, Parliament closed the window period for the submissions of the public views, paving way for a parliamentary process which is expected to be complete by this weekend. Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable Ziyambi Ziyambi, said the closure of the parliamentary review process will ensure the tabling of the report before Parliament next week.
The portfolio committees have been looking at the submissions that were brought to Parliament as well as what they gathered during public hearings. So they've been compiling their report, which we hopefully will be done by this weekend. And once it's done, next week when we resume sitting, I will then introduce the bill for the first time.
The second reading of the bill would trigger debate among parliamentarians with huge expectation that CAP 3 will be a closed chapter by end of next month.
It being a constitutional bill, it's not referred to the Parliamentary Legal Committee, which would then allow me, if I'm comfortable, to proceed to the second reading speech, where I will formally now unpack the bill to parliamentarians, explaining the provisions of the bill, the rationale, and opening up debate. After the second reading speech, indicate if that consideration will be done before we then proceed to the committee stage. But it will depend on the debate, how it goes in Parliament, and hopefully we should be able to conclude the processes by end of June.
The Constitutional Amendment number 3 bill seeks to lengthen an electoral cycle for the president, legislators and councillors from 5 to 7 years, while giving a parliamentary process the chance for the election of the president. The bill, among other provisions, seeks the establishment of the Zimbabwe Delimitation Commission and the merging of the Zimbabwe Gender Commission with the Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission, taking away the management of the voters' roll from the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission to the Registrar General's office. Bruce Chawanda, SABC News, Harare.
The Geopomona Waste Management Company has acquired state-of-the-art front-loading refuse compactors, which are expected to enhance the firm's waste management capacity.
The latest move demonstrates Geopomona's commitment to continuous expansion, with the fleet of more than a dozen automatic front-load refuse collection compactors efficient in emptying a large number of skip bins, saving fuel, and covering more areas in providing this critical service. They add to an existing fleet of skip trucks, excavators, and refuse collection trucks that were commissioned by President Emmerson Mnangagwa last year.
We procured 45 compactor trucks in December, and now we have an addition of another 10 compactor trucks and also front loader trucks, which is going to help the resident of Zimbabwe, resident of Harare, to make sure that we are collecting our waste without any hindrances.
Meanwhile, Geopomona is undertaking awareness campaigns in Harare, including Mbare, on illegal dumping of waste.
We need to educate our residents how waste can be managed from the residents up to the end where we are receiving it here. So we are appealing to the residents of Harare that wherever they are, they need to practice how to manage waste in their residence, to separate, segregate, so that when the waste arrive here at the site, to be easy for us to give to those who want to use it, like recycling companies.
Harare's central business district and suburbs have witnessed the tremendous transformation through consistent waste and refuse collection since Geopomona received national project status, with more expected in the area of energy generation. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
As the country intensifies its campaign for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council, institutions such as the Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Services are being recognized for their role in peace building, rehabilitation, and promoting social stability.
Zimbabwe's contribution to global peace efforts in various countries is well traceable, from the DRC to Sudan, Somalia, Sierra Leone, among others. And the Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service is also an integral player towards these initiatives. The Commissioner General of the ZPCS, Dr. Moses Chihovu, says the country's contribution to global peace efforts is well traceable and commendable, and it presents the country as a champion of peace.
The participation of the Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service in regional and international peace support initiatives has helped strengthen Zimbabwe's reputation as a peace and responsible nation. Through these engagements, Zimbabwe has shown its commitment to promoting peace, stability, and cooperation beyond its borders. The Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service officers who take part in such programs gain valuable experience in professionalism.
As Zimbabwe seeks a non-permanent seat to the United Nations Security Council, Commissioner General Chihovu says it is its participation in various global peace efforts that makes the country a competitive candidate.
Zimbabwe's bid for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council is an opportunity for the country to contribute to global peace and security discussions. Institutions such as the Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service strengthen Zimbabwe's case because peace today is not about military action, but also about rehabilitation, justice, and social stability.
With the various initiatives such as the parole system set to be rolled out by the ZPCS, Dr. Chihovu says it is initiatives such as these that Zimbabwe can bring on the international peace efforts table as it vies for the seat on the Security Council.
The Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Service is also continuing to improve its operations in line with international human rights standards and modern correctional practices that promote human treatment and rehabilitation. If Zimbabwe is elected to the United Nations Security Council, the country can share its experiences on the importance of combating security with rehabilitation, human development, restorative justice. Zimbabwe can also advocate for African-led solutions to peace-building challenges.
If elected, Zimbabwe will serve on the United Nations Security Council between 2027 and 2028. Olina Ndori, ZBC News, Harare.
Speaking of bids, I bid you to visit our website for more news. It's www.zbcnews.co.zw, as well as our social media pages. We are on X, Facebook, as well as YouTube. All our handles are ZBC News Online. Now, stories still to expect in the bulletin are as follows. Government bars foreigners from small-scale gold mining in a landmark empowerment policy. And in sport, Warriors eye redemption against India in a Unity Cup playoff. We take a short break, but we'll be back with more stories after that. Do stay with us.
Welcome to a decade of innovation, a legacy of trust, as Oxford Properties celebrates 10 years of excellence, from the success of Aspendale Park to our newest vision. We invite you to discover Borrowdale Park. Experience premium stands ranging from 400 to 800 square meters, with flexible payment plans designed for your future. Perfectly situated less than 5 kilometers from Sam Levy's village, this is where convenience meets sophistication. This is a complete lifestyle sanctuary, a secure, gated community featuring on-site schools, a medical clinic, and a modern shopping mall. From our dynamic business park to paved wellness trails and dedicated sports facilities, every detail, including a dedicated fire station, is built into the heart of the community. With title deeds guaranteed and professionally designed house plans ready for you, your peace of mind is our priority. Borrowdale Park. Designed for living.
We've always known what it takes to grow. But this is what it feels like to finally step inside the dream. It's that quiet moment when a room holds everything it used to be and everything it made possible. That this is actually mine feeling when the first payment hits. That pure adrenaline from a small space to an empire you rule. And when you said you'd almost sleep in your first car, we made sure you actually did. Plans may adapt, circumstances will evolve, but your growth, that's non-negotiable. Bank on growth with Stanbic Bank Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is our home, and we drive her growth.
Stanbic Bank is a registered commercial bank and a member of the Deposit Protection Scheme.
Thank you so much for staying tuned to the main news as we continue. Beitbridge's quest to become a city in 2030 is gaining momentum, with the Central Business District expansion project having commenced.
Civil works for the expansion of Beitbridge Central Business District have started in earnest as the border town experiences unprecedented expansion amid increased investments in infrastructure.
It's going to change the face of the town of Beitbridge, because along the highway we didn't have any structure which is actually big in one place. But with these commercial stands, we are going to see new companies coming in, new joint ventures coming up, which is going to actually increase the value of Beitbridge town.
It's a lifetime opportunity we should take, and we will see the upsurge in business. Even the outlook of our town is going to change for the better, attracting even more tourists, more businesses to come and set up base here.
The expansion will accommodate large and small businesses, complementing the Second Republic's redevelopment agenda.
The stand will only be issued when the place has been fully serviced. The contractor is given a contract to do roads, to do sewer reticulation, to do drainage, and also to do water reticulation. And come after 6 months, we should be starting a new town, a new CBD that will be reflective of our agenda to get into a middle-class economy by 2030.
The expansion is expected to ease congestion at the border town, while transforming it into a highly profitable and self-sustaining economic hub as the country journeys towards an upper middle-income society by 2030. Aifeli Mudau, ZBC News, Beitbridge.
Communities in the Shangani area of Matabeleland South Province are taking a proactive approach to fight and to prevent veld fires, which in the past have caused massive damage to properties as well as loss of lives in the area.
Memories of the 2006 veld fire disaster, where 9 school children were burnt and killed by a veld fire here in Debshan Range, still linger in these villages. As such, communities here around Shangani, in collaboration with the Environment Management Agents, EMA, have taken a proactive approach in preventing veld fires.
Umuzi lomuzi fanele ube la makoti ayi-2. 1 nelezi, elesibili nelomlotha. Ngoba ungafaka umlotha olamalahle ezibini kungablowa umoya.
Asibona intuthu loba isukuma loba ngaphi lanxa umuntu otshisa amabibi kumele siyokhangela ukuthi make sure amabibi lawo watshisa endaweni enjani njalo watshisa ngasiphi isikhathi ukuthi umoya umhluphe yini ngathi sibe khona eduzane.
Safundisa ukuthi zona
Izintombazane esihlala nazo ziyayifuna impilo. Nxa soqhamuka umlilo kufa into eziningi kakhulu ezidalwe nguNkulunkulu ubana ziphile lathi siyazibuka.
In 2025, Matabeleland South Province lost more than 44,000 hectares of land to wildfires.
Nxa sikhangele ngomnyaka ka-2024 sibe lemlilo ebengaphansi kodwa 2025 yakhwela okuthi ukuthi khathesi kumele sinanzelele ngoba sonke siku-red zone ngenxa yotshani lezulu elinileyo utshani bunengi kakhulu.
With these worrisome figures, Matabeleland South Province is working with Holistic Shangani to prevent wildfires in hotspot areas like Shangani and Umzingwane.
According to the Environmental Management Agency's National Fire Risk Assessment, nearly 42% of the country is now classified as high risk, while almost 12% falls under extreme risk. Districts such as Insiza, Umzingwane, and Matobo remain at high risk and particularly vulnerable.
This year's National Fire Week launch is running under the theme Prevent, Protect, Preserve, Combating Wildfires Together. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News, Shangani.
A dialogue between Iranian and Zimbabwean nationals took center stage in Harare this Thursday, bringing together women from diverse backgrounds to discuss shared challenges and practical solutions for their advancement.
Discussions centered on women's socio-economic development while also addressing the systems that continue to limit women's independence and safety.
Women can be the focal point of moral life. They can be the focal point of a struggle for social justice. They can be the focal point for healthy families. They can be basically forces of advancement in society.
Women have always been strong and instrumental as leaders in their homes and in their communities. Women have been very creative and enduring and active species and not passive species.
Many cultural and religious traditions contain strong examples of women who obtained leadership, wisdom, strength, and moral integrity, showing that women can be both spiritually grounded and actively engaged in society.
Organizers highlighted that the dialogue fosters grassroots cultural and professional ties.
Collaboration between Iranian women, Iranian ladies, and Iranian and Zimbabwean ladies can be in cultural issues, can be in political issues, social issues. For example, some of the women of Zimbabwe can take part in our universities.
Zimbabwe and Iran have maintained diplomatic relations since 1983, cooperating in areas such as agriculture, energy, mining, education, and healthcare. Festus Nkunguruse, ZBC News, Harare.
As Zimbabwe marks Culture Month, communities in Victoria Falls are turning heritage into livelihood, using beadwork, dance, and traditional crafts not just to preserve identity, but to share it with the world through tourism.
From the market stalls to the dance arena, the story here is of culture being lived, not staged. The city of Victoria Falls has become a meeting point where global travelers intersect with local identity, bringing Zimbabwe's cultural heritage to the forefront of Zimbabwe's tourism experience. As Zimbabwe celebrates Culture Month under the theme Creativity and Diversity, Advancing Vision 2030 through cultural expressions, the streets and queer markets of Victoria Falls are a living showcase of this vision. Here, a hand-beaded bracelet, a meticulously carved elephant, and a high-energy dance performance are more than just a souvenir, they're a gateway to Zimbabwe's soul, while communities use this heritage to transform their livelihoods.
Let's say singathola imali ngazo lezi zinto. Siyahamba maybe emakhaya njengoba especially mina ngiku 20 kilometers from Victoria Falls. So ngathola imali ngiyahamba ngagebha umgodi. So at the end of the night, and they'll have that knowledge of Zimbabwe, a true Zimbabwean authentic culture.
So
we use fine art as a way of showing and helping people appreciate our African culture.
International tourists visiting Victoria Falls say the cultural experiences have been memorable as the natural wonder itself.
Heel erg behulpzaam en het land is gewoon schitterend. De verschillende gebieden met hun eigen cultuur.
Your culture, your spirituality is great. It's beautiful.
Polite people who are compared to Europe, such things. That's what we notice, how people live over here. But especially we come here, of course, for the animals and the wildlife.
As the global tourism experiences shift towards authentic cultural experiences, Zimbabwe is positioning its rich cultural heritage as a central pillar for its international tourism brand. By preserving indigenous traditions, the strategy not only showcases the country's rich culture, but also drives sustainable economic growth in alignment with Vision 2030. The Land Moyo, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
And a big thank you to Yolanda Moyo for positioning main news on the international front as well as she spoke to those tourists. Now, still on Culture Month, the preservation of culture as a tool for promoting unity, social cohesion and national development has taken center stage as Harare province joined in the rest of the country in commemorating Culture Month.
With Harare bringing together people from diverse ethnic and cultural backgrounds, this year's commemoration sparked a renewed conversation on the importance of safeguarding Zimbabwe's cultural identity for future generations. Traditional dance, music, food, language, and indigenous customs dominated the celebrations, reflecting the country's rich heritage.
Tine marudzi akasiyana siyana muconstitution kune 16 malanguages anotarisirwa. Saka zuva ranhasi isusu seHarare province taritorawo kuti Harare inzvimbo inosangana marudzi akasiyana siyana. Saka vese venge vakaungana pano.
Culture remains central to Zimbabwe's development agenda, with government intensifying efforts to preserve indigenous knowledge systems and promote national identity.
Tinadzo nzira idzodzo dzaishandiswa nemadziteteguru edu. Izvi ndiri kuzvitaura ndakanangana nevechidiki vedu avo vachaive vatungamiriri venyika ino vagovazve vachengetedzi vetsika nemagariro edu.
Zimbabweans, particularly youths, have been asked to embrace their heritage and take pride in Zimbabwean traditions amid growing global cultural influence.
It's really important for us as the young people to understand our culture as Zimbabweans. What is Zimbabwe? Who is a Zimbabwean?
Tinakutenda hurumende inotungamirirwa napresident vedu vaMnangagwa yakatidzosera kuti zive kuti takabvepi.
Zimbabwe's history and identity remain deeply rooted in culture, with stakeholders calling for greater community participation in preserving traditional values, languages, and practices. Patience Nyagati, ZBC News, Harare.
Zimbabwe has rallied African countries to direct more investments into power generation and transmission infrastructure to ensure energy sharing and self-sufficiency. In his address at the DEVAC Infrastructure Summit in Johannesburg, South Africa this Thursday, the Minister of Energy and Power Development, Honorable July Moyo, explained how upgrading energy infrastructure will result in energy self-sufficiency in the continent.
Apart from what I've seen, the strengthening of the transmission system here in South Africa, 14,000 kilometers, and we want to match that by investing in transmission lines. So we can give you a menu of what has to be invested, but we think that the aim of all this infrastructure is not just linked to energy alone, but when you think that we have a railway system which is also linked, the only countries in the world where you are using the same meter gauge, you can drive a train from Cape Town to Dar es Salaam or to Lusaka through DRC to Lobito, using the same meter gauge. When you go to all the continents, this is not interconnected in the same manner. And when you think also of our infrastructure of telecommunications, and you think of our infrastructure of our waterways, as the minister has said, we stand here in Southern Africa, here in Africa, to do that which is necessary, the infrastructure that we need, the infrastructure that will integrate Africa, and the infrastructure that will attract investment, and the investment that will uplift the standard of living of our people.
Zimbabwe is stepping up its efforts to strengthen its healthcare delivery system through strategic investment in the health workforce, with government and stakeholders meeting in Harare this Thursday for the inaugural Human Resources for Health Workforce Investment Dialogue. We get more from Abigail Tembo.
Zimbabwe's health sector is taking a major step towards strengthening its workforce as government and key stakeholders convene in Harare for the inaugural Human Resources for Health Workforce Investment Dialogue. The meeting has brought together policymakers, development partners, and health experts to deliberate on staffing gaps, financing, retention, and long-term strategies aimed at building a stronger and more resilient healthcare system. The Minister of Health and Childcare, Dr. Douglas Mombeshora, told delegates that Zimbabwe's health system remains the backbone of national development, stressing that investment in the health workforce is directly investing in the country's prosperity and improved health outcomes.
Today's dialogue should go beyond being a review meeting, but a strategic platform for collective reflection, shared accountability, and renewed commitment. We are here to evaluate progress, identify gaps, mobilize solutions, and agree on practical actions that will accelerate implementation of the Health Workforce Investment Compact.
The Deputy Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, Honorable Kudakwashe Mnangagwa, highlighted government's continued commitment to strengthening human capital investment.
Investment in our health workforce is not merely a social expenditure, it is strategic national investment in our human capital base, national productivity, and long-term socio-economic resilience. Now, despite a highly constrained fiscal environment, Treasury has taken a bold action to back our verbal commitments with concrete resources. Out of the 5,284 health sector posts allocated in 2025, approximately 3,700 health workers have already been recruited and deployed.
The Health Services Commission, alongside development partners, academia, civil society, and the private sector, is also playing a central role in the dialogue.
For any functioning system to work, you need the people, you need the processes, and you need the resources in terms of financial resources. And here we are talking about the other P, which is the people.
What's really important from our perspective is the sustainability of effort, and that it continues, and that the mark of success is the indicators that we're already seeing, and that they continue, and that as development partners we can be part of that journey, but you know, mirroring a little bit what the government wants to achieve, what the people of Zimbabwe want to achieve.
The dialogue is expected to produce practical recommendations that will strengthen the country's health workforce investment framework and support ongoing efforts to improve healthcare delivery across Zimbabwe. Abigail Tembo, ZBC News, Harare.
Main News takes a break, but we'll be back with business news.
Zhinji zvekorerose Shumba Blasters Mutengo manake unofadza homwe
pinda yuma kwikwi Shumba Plus Pro and Ride promotion nasi monokwanisa kuwina mitututu magejo nepombi dzekufiritisa pese pamunotenga ma 200 grams matanatu kana ma 500 grams matatu Shumba Plus Stars. Promotion iyi iri kuitwa kubva musi wa 1 kubvumbi kusvika musi wa 31 nyamavuvu kuzvitoro zvinotengesa zvekurima nekurimisa zvakasarudzwa nyika yose. Terms and conditions apply.
Destination Hungary.
Europe's greatest stage awaits.
It's a game that really does underline the word champions. Parisian perfection.
2 giants remain as the eyes of the world turn to Budapest.
Oh, incredible!
Don't miss a moment with club football's biggest prize on the line.
Oh, wow! Have you ever seen football on this level?
Catch all the action on DSTV Access, only on SuperSport on DSTV.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's take a look at business. The government's new policy prohibiting foreigners from taking part in small-scale gold mining activities has been described as a landmark intervention aimed at empowering locals.
The reforms announced last week stipulate that no foreigners should get involved in small to medium gold mining in a move meant to empower the citizenry. Zimbabwe Miners Federation President Ms. Henrietta Rushwaya welcomed this policy measure as historical in plugging illicit trading in the yellow metal and empowering citizens.
This decision responds directly to a long-standing call by the Zimbabwe Miners Federation, which has consistently advocated for foreign investors not to occupy small-scale mining claims that are intended to benefit Zimbabwean citizens. By requiring foreign investors holding 50 hectares or less to demonstrate their viability by producing at least 20 kilograms per month by 1 January 2027, the government has drawn a clear, fair, and enforceable line.
Economic analyst Takuzo Chisango noted how the move addresses concerns around foreign participation in the sector.
The policy directive that has been issued by the Ministry of Mines and Mining Development is quite a progressive one in a number of aspects, looking in terms of knowledge and skills transfer in mining management. So with this directive now in place, we are likely going to see the locals benefiting more in terms of sharpening and enhancing their mining management skills. And secondly, it is likely going to improve domestic employees' welfare within mining workspaces. But more fundamentally, it will widen and deepen creation of direct empowerment opportunities to the locals.
Meanwhile, Mines and Mining Development Minister Dr. Polite Kambamura has allayed fears over issues around capacity to implement the policy. Government has also directed all mining companies to abide by the 98% local composition in key managerial positions, a policy that is expected to enhance the country's skills base in the mining sector. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
We take a break, and when we return, we'll dig into sports news.
From 11 June to 19 July, everything can wait. The FIFA World Cup 2026. Catch all 104 matches from as little as $10. Live on SuperSport, only on DSTV.
Tengo manake unopata omwe
Enter the Shumba Plus Raw and Ride promotion. Win motorbikes, hand plows, and sprayers when you buy 6 by 200 grams or 3 by 500 grams Shumba Plus Dust. Promotion runs from 1 April to 31 August at selected retailers and agro dealers nationwide. T's and C's apply.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Let's turn our attention to sports and the Warriors. The senior men's national football team, the Warriors, will be hoping to restore lost pride when they square off with India in a Unity Cup third-place playoff at the Valley Stadium in London this Saturday.
At first glance, it sounds like a build-up to a cricket showdown between Zimbabwe and India, two nations with rich history on the crease. The memories of 1999 still linger strongly in Zimbabwean sport. Barely 170 kilometers from the Valley Stadium, Zimbabwe stunned cricket giants India by 3 wickets at the World Cup in one of the nation's most iconic sporting victories. But on Saturday in London, the rivalry shifts from cricket bats to football boots as the Warriors lock horns with India in the Unity Cup. Now, 27 years later, destiny brings the two countries together once again on English soil, only this time under the floodlights and on the football field. The Unity Cup has become more than just a tournament. It is a celebration of culture, identity and heritage, uniting communities through the universal language of sport. While Zimbabwe enters the encounter ranked 6 places above India on the FIFA World Rankings, the Warriors, no reputation alone, will not win matches.
The game that is also coming up on Saturday to try and rectify the mistakes we did in the previous game, but also looking forward at the chances we created if we can be able to break them.
We have a better chance. Like it was a moment of where to capitalize on our chances. They capitalize on their chances. So it's also for us like to just believe and try to use our moment when it comes.
With valuable FIFA ranking points at stake in the sanctioned Tier 1 international competition, the Warriors have every reason to finish the campaign strongly. Lawrence Reseda, ZBC News, London.
Well, who do you think is going to win, the Warriors or India? Let's talk about Sunday. Sunday is a very special day, and that's because there is growing excitement ahead of Sunday's blockbuster Casa Lager Premier Soccer League showdown between defending champions Scotland FC and Harare Giants Caps United. On top of that, it will signal the reopening of the National Sports Stadium after nearly a 3-year refurbishment process.
For local football lovers, the occasion represents more than just another league fixture. The country's biggest football facility is ready to welcome back domestic football, and the occasion is expected to be a spectacle as an established giant Caps United and an emerging force Scotland provide entertainment. Scotland hosts log leaders Caps United, knowing victory could see the defending champions leapfrog log leaders Makepekepe on goal difference in what is shaping up to be a potential explosive encounter. While Caps United are drawing inspiration from returning to their spiritual home, Scotland appear equally determined to spell the celebration and turn the occasion into their own statement moment. Behind the scenes, Maveravera are leaving nothing to chance as preparations intensify for what is expected to be a huge crowd.
I would like to thank the government of Zimbabwe through the Ministry of Sports for availing us the National Sports Stadium to be the first team to host a match there. We are in the process of having road shows in Harare to hype up this match. All our supporters chapters are on their heels running around to make sure that the National Sports Stadium is filled up on Sunday. The result will matter. What we want is 3 points at the end of the day. And I tell you, Scotland is going to get the 3 points.
With just 3 points separating the two sides, the stakes could not be bigger. But beyond the battle for points and bragging rights, Sunday's encounter also signals a fresh chapter for Zimbabwean football as one of the nation's iconic sporting venues finally rose back to life. Lawrence Trusida, ZBC News.
We'll be looking closely for the final result on Sunday. Now, speaking of tournaments, let's talk about the World Cup. South Africa's Bafana Bafana have named a 26-member squad to participate at the 2026 FIFA World Cup set for next month in Canada, Mexico, and the United States of America. Still on football news, let's talk about women's football. The Zimbabwe Football Association has announced the Mighty Warriors squad for the upcoming Four Nations Championship set for Lusaka, Zambia from the 3rd of June. Now, coach Sitelelo Sibanda has named an experienced squad captained by Israel-based Immaculate Msipa alongside well-nourished striker Ruvimbo Mucherera, as well as veteran forward Rutendo Makore and Zambia-based attacker Ethel Chinyerere. Now, correctional Queens defender Agnes Tumbura, together with midfielders Shailene Damba Muromo and Christabel Katona, bring experience to the side. The side also includes exciting young talent with Chapungu defender Sheila Antonio, Herentals utility player Bethel Kondo, and Platinum Royals forward Eneti Chemere, earning national team call-ups. Zimbabwe will face host Zambia, Kenya, and Ghana in the regional tournament set for Lusaka. Well, we wish the Mighty Warriors all the best in their upcoming championships. Now, let's take a look at what you can expect in the weather.
Good evening, Zimbabwe, and welcome to tonight's weather report and forecast of Afanjuwa. Looking at some of the conditions, it was very cold across much of the country with ground frost in areas such as Matopos, Danga, Gweru, and Marondera, all below 2 degrees in terms of the ground minimums, but it was getting warmer by afternoon where it went into the mild category across much of the country with warmer conditions along the Zambezi Valley where we had scattered clouds drifting in from the east. We still have that easterly wind causing mild conditions across much of the country, but it's relatively dry. We were expecting the minimums to fall to the cool category across much of the country, and some areas should be in the cold. We were expecting below 10 degrees Celsius, but however by afternoon it should warm up slightly with most of them in the upper 20s across much of the country. We are expecting a maximum of 26 morning temperature in the cool category with 10 degrees Celsius projected there, and we're expecting it to warm up by afternoon also in Matopos, where slight ground frost cannot be ruled out in the morning hours. For Gwanda, we're expecting a minimum of 11 and a maximum of 26 tomorrow, warming up as we get into the afternoon. But cooling winds from the southeast should affect us on Saturday and Sunday. We're expecting it to be windier than of late. Gweru also influenced by those cooling southeasterlies on Saturday and Sunday. But for tomorrow, a maximum of 25 is projected. The morning temperature 9 degrees Celsius. So keep warm if you happen to be in Gweru. Masvingo 26 by afternoon with cooling winds projected on Saturday and Sunday. Same for Mtaro, we're expecting it to be at 26 tomorrow, falling to 24 as we get into the weekend. Morning temperatures are also in the cool category in the morning. Cold over Nyanga in the morning, but it warms up to about 22 by afternoon. Cooling winds also projected into the weekend. Same for Marondera, we're expecting a maximum of 23 on Saturday, but for tomorrow it's 24 as the maximum morning temperature 8 degrees. Harare, minimum of 10 degrees, maximum of 25, with a slight chill into the weekend as we drop to about 23 on Sunday. For Kadoma, 28 tomorrow, falling to about 27 as we get into Saturday. 26 on Sunday as our maximum was. Chino is at 28 for much of the period. Morning temperature also in the cool category. So those northern areas not very much influenced by the cooling southeasterlies, where Victoria Falls is expected to be at a steady 28 for much of the period. Morning temperature in the 12 degrees Celsius range. And for Lupane, we're expecting it to be cool in the morning with slight chance of frost, but it warms up to about 29 for tomorrow. Pindura 26 for tomorrow with morning temperature at 10 degrees Celsius, which is also in the cool category, but it gets to be cold on Saturday as the cooling southeasterlies are also influenced weather over there. Ukariba is mostly 29 for much of this week under mostly sunny skies, and we still remind you that because of this cooling winds, please take care and always ensure that you keep warm as the early morning hours tend to be rather chilly. And always remember, it's back to the news desk.
big thank you to the team at MST, as well as the team behind the scenes. A special thank you to Susan Masono on the sign language desk as we come to an end on the Thursday main news bulletin. My name is Arthur C. Evans. Wherever you are, stay warm, God bless, and we'll see you tomorrow.